Thank you
for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh. That's a good move. Definitely deserved some applause. And thank you for your attention. You can remain seated because we will be continuing with another interesting topic. From SFC Energy, they will be talking about the EFOY hydrogen energy solutions. And on stage will be Senior Business Development Manager Stephan Laistner. So stay seated and we'll be back in a minute.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Fair here at Hannover Messe 2023. Please have a seat, because we have a very interesting interview for you in store. Grab a drink, grab a seat, and join us. So, I will be talking about EFOY Hydrogen Energy Solutions with SF Energy. I will be talking to the Senior Business Development Manager, Mr. Stephan Laistner. Thank you for joining us.
Very much. Thank you. Hi.
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 Welcome.
My pleasure.
So, how are you enjoying the fair so far?
It's wonderful. It's a great pleasure to be here again after 1 year of absence. And no, it's wonderful to see all familiar faces, new faces, and the interest in hydrogen in general or in renewable energy. That's amazing.
Great, great indeed. And please tell me more about EFOY. What does it stand for? Am I pronouncing that right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's EFOY is our product range of fuel cell modules, and it's standing for Energy for You, short EFOY. And SFC is our company name in general. So we have a differentiation between the company and the product lines. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do in your role at SFC?
So I'm Senior Business Development Manager for hydrogen systems. I'm working on business development, on sales, on going into new projects and new solutions into the market and explore what is required from the customers and projects in new markets, new niche markets. So it's super interesting what's around. I mean, like there's so much interest in hydrogen, so much interest in emission-free solutions. So yeah, it's interesting time, good times, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And you say you're looking for new business cases, for new applications. How does EFOY fit in there? What is the product range, and what does it do?
Yeah.
What niche market does it fill?
So as an example, we have two different technologies in our company. We have on the one hand side the direct methanol fuel cell, which is a very small and compact system, only providing around 100 watts to 500 watts of electrical energy and running on methanol. And over here, our biggest market nowadays is video towers, for example, everything what is off-grid, where we need power for a certain time. Normally also combined with solar power. So solar is the primary power source. Super efficient, if it's available almost for free. I mean, like there's no running cost, that's wonderful. But yeah, you've seen the weather the last month. I mean, like it's not always available. So and yeah, we combined it with our fuel cells as a backup. So the small fuel cells then are generating power when it's required. And as methanol is a liquid fuel, it's very easy to handle and to exchange. So yeah, there are a lot of niche applications where the fuel cells do fit in quite well. And that's always super interesting to see the products getting into new integrations where you first have a headache and think like, okay, it will never work. And then at the end of the day, there's like 100, 500,000 of those fuel cells in one application.
Yeah, so fuel cells often seem like something in the future, something that is going to be, and that's not yet. But I believe you're already having these systems operational. Can we already, let's say, find them in the wild?
Yeah, definitely. So our focus at SFC is to provide products, like complete serial products. We're not providing pilot systems or any prototypes, but we have a serial production of fuel cells. And for example, I think last year we did produce around 8,000 of those fuel cells. And the best examples are those video towers, where you can just go after the show, go outside, and you go to a construction site. You see those video towers. And you might wonder, normally they have grid available, but normally when a construction site is at the beginning, there is no power. So how do they get the power? That's what you normally as a normal human don't think about, because power is everywhere. So what they do, they place the tower, combining with solar. If solar is not available, how do you charge them? Normally you would exchange the batteries, but nowadays with labor is something difficult to get and also expensive. You don't want to have a guy running around the town and exchanging batteries. So the fuel cell is filling that gap. And if you now go home at the end of the day and see a video tower, there is 50% the chance that you see our fuel cells in there. Yeah. And that's an everyday application where people don't think about. But we're having our products on the market since more than 20 years now. And as mentioned, a serial product producing 6,000 to 8,000 a year, made in Germany as well. And yeah, that's only one example.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really already being deployed at scale. That's great to see. And I believe those are relatively low power systems. Yeah. Do you also have some more high power applications or medium power applications for your systems?
Yeah, we also have like a hydrogen fuel cell module containing out of 2.5 kilowatt modules. So that's for us the higher power application, but actually for a lot of people when you talk here, that's the lower end again. So now that's our product range at the moment, like containing on the hydrogen 2.5 kilowatts. We connected in parallel for higher output power, so it's a modular system. Focuses here on service and maintenance to have them reliable in the field if there's any service required, that the exchange is done very easy, that you don't have to get in touch with hydrogen. So you can send just trained staff there, which can do the maintenance. And over there we have different kind of applications. Majorly we are into backup power systems. So to backing up critical infrastructure, telecommunication, gas infrastructure, electrical infrastructure, and everything what is critical, for example, data centers also on the lower end. And we also integrate them into our mobile system, which is the H2 genset, containing a tank and having like a replacement for a diesel generator.
That's very interesting. So if you were to, let's say, have a construction site somewhere or maybe even organize a festival, you could rather have it powered renewably through hydrogen instead of diesel.
Diesel, exactly. And that's what we're aiming to. That I mean, like, there is emission-free generators are required somehow. I mean, like, everyone is talking about like zero emission, everyone is talking about green energy, there's compliance, everything should be emission-free, but at the end of the day, there are not a lot of products on the market which can directly replace a generator containing a tank, because what we want to provide is a complete solution where the customer does not have to struggle about, okay, where do I get hydrogen from, what can I do, how do I connect it. It's a plug-and-play system with a hydrogen tank. You can directly start it up and you directly get power out of it without a lot of workaround. You can, in addition, connect also an external bundle. You can charge or refill the genset at the gas station, of course, hydrogen gas station, which there are around 100 in Germany, which is not that much, but there will be more soon.
And it's rapidly expanding as well, I think.
Exactly. So there's a chance, because automotive-wise, There's only Toyota or Hyundai, which is providing a car actually, which is running on hydrogen, but the infrastructure is already there. So the chicken and egg problem is not there because the chicken or the egg is already.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd also like the audience to get involved. Do you have any questions for our speaker today? Well, then let's move on. So you already talked a bit about this modularity, how that is important, and this series production. What is really, what's the main benefit of this?
I mean, the importance is that you can have that you have reliable products. That you don't start from zero, from the scratch, and say, okay, I have a stack, I have like a PCB, I have a controller, I do everything by myself and develop it, because that can be left to the experts. I mean, like that's what we are doing, and what important is that you have a serial product at the end. That you have a system which can be repaired, which have a product life cycle, which has a first specification design, to have someone who take care of the supply chain, and also have at the end of the day, when the system is getting out of it's aging, that you can still have repairs, that you can have maintenance, that you get spare parts and stuff like this. And that's important because it's something people might not see at the moment, because everything is new. We want to have hygiene now, we want to have solutions now, but you have to have the bigger picture about that.
Yeah, if you look at the total cost of ownership, which
Exactly.
is often a figure that's referred to,
Yeah, definitely.
then maintenance is a big one to take into account there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so by this series production, I believe you're probably also achieving better economies of scale, which will further drive down the cost. And how important are partners for you in this process? Who are your partners, and how do they help you develop this sector?
So we cannot do any product or project without our partners. So that's something we rely on. You cannot imagine how many different kind of requests we get per day about like coming from, I have a solar panel, I want hydrogen. It's like the basic one. But big projects like I want to have electrolyzers, storage systems and stuff. So we are focusing on the fuel cell part. We are focusing on generating energy out of hydrogen, and everything else is left out to partners. But of course, we have the contacts. We have them all around here today. And that's why we're here, and why we love to meet the people and the partners again. Because for every kind of project, there's a different kind of partner, there's a different kind of scale, different kind of storage system. One wants to have a high pressure tank, the other low pressure tank, electrolyzers, no electrolyzers, exchanging bottles. So that's, for everyone, always new, and everyone is a bit different. And that makes it exciting over here. That's why we rely on our partners, and we love to stick together with them.
Yeah, very cool. Any questions from the audience so far? No, then, we have a question over here. Please.
How much is the energy consumption in hydrogen in such application? Is it for the surveillance cameras, for example? So how long rely they on one filled bottle? Also, to get some feeling, how is the relation?
Yeah, that's always it's a very interesting, important question. In general, like what we have on our homepage is a calculator where you can type in your load profile and you get like a runtime out of it. Because this is heavily relying on your application itself. So, as mentioned before, if we talk about fuel cells, we are on the lower end of power output, like 100 watts, for example. But this can be operated for half a year, combined with solar, for example, without maintenance, without services. But this is a really off-grid application, so it's the middle of nowhere, running half a year. On hydrogen, we have like an efficiency rate around 50% more or less. So out of 1 kilogram of hydrogen, we get approximately around 16 kilowatt hours. But then it's already, again, depending what your load profile is. Do you have an average consumption of 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, or megawatt, you know? So this is heavily depending on, and that's where we also see a bit of advantage, I would say, with our lower-end applications. Because the storage system of hydrogen is something also which is more and more getting to the market, but it's also, the bigger it gets, the more hydrogen you need, the more expensive it does get. And especially compared to diesel applications, they have just a tank, and that's a tank, and they refill it. That's a cheap one, no? But hydrogen is stored in type 4 tanks, for example. It's highly expensive. But of course, at the end of the day, from my point of view, climate change should not only compare the costs, because at the end of the day, if we want to go green, we have to go green, whatever it takes. If this does answer your question. It's a bit a tricky one, but...
Yeah, and I think coming to your last point, regulation is also driving this market. For
Definitely.
instance, in the Netherlands, where I'm from, we have a huge nitrogen problem, which is halting the construction sector. So
Exactly.
having these off-grid power generators that are completely zero emissions, I think, have great benefits.
I think that's what many people don't yet know, that, for example, in, I think, Amsterdam, that ban diesel generators. So there are no diesel generators allowed, not even for the Christmas market or construction site. If the values are too high, they have to shut down the construction sites. They ban diesels. So what is the solution then? I mean, exchange battery packs every day, buy diesel trucks. Tricky.
Yeah. And the amount of energy required in these construction sites is probably a lot higher than a few solar panels can supply.
But that's also
especially in the Dutch sun.
Yeah, but this is also an interesting one, because like we are in some project with construction companies, and I did ask them for a load profile, because they said, yeah, we have a 80 kVA generator. And I said, yeah, okay, what is your load profile? What do you need it for? And then they said, yeah, it's over here. Infrastructure and a crane. And at the end, it turned out that the crane is the most heavy load on the construction site, which is taking around 40 kVA in peak. Means like when it's lifting and turning. This is the maximum power they need. And they do it 1% of the day. So you don't need to size the fuel cell for the crane, but you have a battery pack, and the fuel cell is recharging the battery pack. So we lower the load to a certain level where it makes sense with the fuel cell, and peak is done by battery pack. So it's going to be a combination of different kind of technologies. And that's the interesting one. Again, coming back to partners, to say, okay, we need to have a partner for battery packs, because that's our business. We have to take companies with us who supply hydrogen, because also not on us. So that's the interesting combination.
Yeah, and I think there the modularity and the standardized components also make a lot of sense, because then you can just take the different puzzle pieces and put them together.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest challenges now that you're facing, bringing this to the market, maybe scaling up?
I think the biggest, one of the major topics is where to get hydrogen from. Still, I'd say. I like 1 month ago, maybe you're familiar with the hydrogen community. There are a lot of webinars, and one webinar was about how do we get hydrogen to the market, and the solution was cheap green hydrogen. Well, I'd say, I mean, like, that's one topic for sure. But what we see, the cost driver of hydrogen is more the transportation, the storage, the packaging. That's what we see as a cost driver. So I think that's very important, and it's slowly getting better, that there's more and more infrastructure for those services around hydrogen. Because hydrogen for many companies is new, and there's such a high demand, and for example, green hydrogen is not yet somehow available neither, but you have to start somehow. So you go back to grey hydrogen, which is then depending on the fossil fuels, and that's the tricky part.
Exactly, then we come back to the chicken and egg problem, probably. Yeah, maybe then you should find some partners on the production side to maybe have some decentralized hydrogen production, which, for example, you can. So, are there any more questions from the audience right now? No, then. So, one final question: Why should they choose SFC Energy and the EFOY solution rather than any of the other solutions that are here on the fair today?
I think there's not the one or the other somehow. I mean, like, of course, we have like a serial product on the market which is already standing in backup power systems for more than 10 years. So we have field experience and are also experts in serial production and the product portfolio and product life cycle. But I think in general, to be honest, to say whatever you choose is the right thing, because it just brings more attraction to the market, and it's just opening up the market. And I think that's important, that we get more projects in the field which are then also commercially interesting, not funding projects, but really projects which are like done because it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, not showcases. And that's what I see. Like, whatever you choose, it's going to be the right thing, because it will bring us forward in zero emission.
Yeah, so what you're saying really is you don't see anyone here as competition. They're all just working towards the same goal.
I hope my CEO's not here, but no, it's like we are over here. It's like, it's great to be here. It's like somehow a bit of a big family. Of course, you see what others are doing, and there's definitely competition as well. So of course, we are happy if you choose us for you, but at the end of the day, it's your choice. So.
All right. Thank you very much, Stephan, for answering all of my questions and giving us some insight into EFOY. If you want to see the small-scale fuel cell or the slightly larger-scale fuel cell in real life, you can go to booth C04, which is located over there, I believe, near the entrance of the hall.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time.
Great pleasure. Thank you very much.